Hi, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. My name is host Eric, and I'm here with some finger wags and some fist shakes to offer to the world and the internet community at large. Let's start with Karma's Pimp. Karma's Pimp, I noted when I came back to the computer later after the earlier stream, you had ended it by critiquing for being drama about ENTP Club, or Club as I like to call him. Well, that's not what was happening at all. So fuck off. It's like what happened was last night. This lady, or I guess it was yesterday, maybe the night before actually, that this lady, hi Morge, this lady successfully gamed the test to get me to type her ENTP. Successfully fooled us, even though I tested the shit out of her. But the thing is, this is what such people don't get. I think, is they're not falsifying anything successfully. Because my claim has never been that TI is equal to conditional logic questions or those things. I've always said the following about it, which is it's a disinterested calculus that treats language objects as though they were variables rather than linked to concretely to one specific thing, right? So will that correlate strongly with success in terms of? I thought you might want me to. I thought you might enjoy me live streaming right now, Rachel. It's part of why I started live streaming. That's like yeah, it's a little bit better actually. The reason that guy came up is because he was trying to do the same thing. He tried to do it publicly. This other chick tried to do it privately. And she sent me an email saying, don't discuss the contents of my emails in your live streams. So I won't discuss any of the contents of her emails, but I will say this. As a consequence, all the rest of her emails went unread. Untalkaboutable means not of interest to me at all. If I can't talk about something, I don't want to read it, right? There's no reason to read it. Because I'm an anenom. The whole point of anything is to talk about it. So, fuck that noise. I'm not going to read your emails, If I can't talk about them, why read them? It's almost impossible not to talk about it, It's like I have things in my head based on what I read and see and etc. And to tell me not to talk about it online is like saying, well, pretend as though you didn't know this. I can't do that. It's ridiculous. I don't want to do that. I can and will with matters of confidentiality. I respect confidentiality and such, but I'm not going to discuss anything in contents of her emails besides the fact that she said don't discuss the contents of her emails. But then don't email me. If you don't want your information you're emailing me to inform my thinking at all, then don't email me. Or if you do want it to inform my thinking, then expect it to be able to publicly note that it's been informed my thinking. So, that earns that lady a finger wag and a shake of the fist. And also, it's like, I didn't see any card. I already threw the box away, too. I didn't know there was a card. Sorry about that. Thank you for the gifts. So yeah, it's like, why did ENTP Club come up? Because that's something that ESFPs have the potential to do. Sometimes publicly, sometimes privately. If you work really hard at gaming my tests, you can find ways to game certain tests if I'm not paying much attention. But what they don't get is this, is that that conversation with that lady taught me was what the counterfeit version of it looks like better. So yeah, you can pass a couple of phony $100 bills, but once you do, I'm going to get careful about accepting $100 bills, right? So, so they seem to think that they're successfully accomplishing something. All they're doing is teaching me to not get to not get robbed like that again. It's not like I'm getting robbed in any literal sense. I mean, it's as though they're trying to pass off counterfeit $100 bills, except it's not actually money, right? She still paid me to type her, so whatever. But don't expect it. Don't expect me to think you've got any good ideas about things because you successfully gamed that test. It doesn't establish anything that you can make arguments off of. Well, mostly I'm mad at Karma's Pimp for saying, can't we go 1 month around here without any drama? The reason ENTP Club came up is because another ESFP, like ENTP Club, did the same thing, except she did it privately. So, that's why it came up. And, of course, meaningful bits of information that are relevant to typology and to typing to people are going to come up relatively often. So it's like, when talking about Jonathan Basanti's reaction to me getting FE moved around by ENTP Club, it's informative. I was talking really at that moment about why he's an INTJ and should feel pretty confident about that typing. And that was a relevant piece of data to the question. There's no drama involved in that matter. We've got a couple of examples now. I've got more than two, in fact, but some older ones as well, of ESFPs successfully... right, well, it is. That's what it is. It's become an archetype, right? Club ESFP is an archetype called ESFP who doesn't like the implicit exclusivity of typology, which says, sorry, you're fundamentally not as cut out for meh as I am. You're entitled to say that in typology towards other types about certain things, And so it is the case that Club ESFP and that lady are never going to be good at understanding typology, no matter how good they are at gaming my assessment. But the thing is, that's about as good as it can be, okay? Is how well that lady did it the other night, okay? She really did a spectacular job of gaming it. But I now have a much clearer sense because I knew I was being gamed in some sense. That's why I asked so many TI and NE questions. I kept asking more and more and more of them because there was something off, But now I have a clearer sense of what that counterfeit shit looks like. It's not going to get me again. So the thing that annoys me is when there's a sense that occurrence means something that it doesn't. I've never said, and have always indicated quite to the contrary, that TI is exclusively about being able to successfully do those conditional logic tests. But what the ESFPs don't seem to get is that the assessment can be extremely reliable for typology virgins or half virgins, people who aren't familiar with the test itself or haven't studied it in order to try to game it, and that's a legitimate reason to think that it's a legitimate reason to think the test is valid and links strongly in the ways that I say it does. And in fact, to the extent that you can game those things by studying cognitive function sessions, then you're just kind of proving my point. It takes a lot of studying and practicing to fake your type. But that's never gonna happen to me again. An ESFP is not gonna come in and fake me out again. It's never gonna happen again. I'm gonna pay a lot more attention to the quality of the NE. And when it comes to TI stuff, the thing is, I'm going to trust my instincts when it comes to gaming, whether the person's trying to game me. And accordingly, draw some conclusions, probably. You asked a young lady today if she knew her type. She was going to the 9th grade. She pulled out her phone and she said she typed as ENFP. Well, I mean, okay, she had cause enough to be smug about that, but then don't expect graciousness really from me, right? After the fact, they're afraid of people thinking they're stupid, so they try to flip the table. They're effective, you know. In that instance, she was effective at faking me out. But then don't expect me to do follow up with you where I actually test you because you used your time to fake me out, you know. That's how you used your time. Yeah, you don't have Alzheimer's disease. Don't worry about it. You don't have Alzheimer's disease either. You got no timer's disease. You're just like me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you heard Congressman, but you earned a shake of my fist and a wag of my finger for coming at the very end of the last stream and putting in one stupid ass comment that pissed me off. So, and okay? Those are both for you. I hope you enjoy sucking on them. Well, you said the reference to Club ENTP was drama. Of course, it wasn't. It was absolutely incredibly relevant to what we were talking about. Because, as I mentioned just before you got here, I guess, that lady, ESFP, did the same thing that he did, right? Which is, there's this fascination with being able to prove that they can fake me out. But the thing is, it's fundamentally a dishonest approach, right? Because they're starting with us both assuming that they're legitimately going to try to be typed and not try to successfully hide their deficit areas. In other words, they haven't practiced to do so, which this lady obviously had, you know. So, I mean, I could ask that up front, I suppose. And then they'd have to directly lie, which would be a good way of sort of playing prevent defense on that. Yeah. It's a dementia joke. Everybody loves a hilarious dementia joke. What would you say, Eliana, if I was like, my mom has Alzheimer's disease? How dare you make a joke about that? I'm so offended. I'm not really offended at all. Every time I go see my mom, I'm like, damn, Mom, you got dumb. Why are you so dumb now? What's wrong with you? No, I mean it's happened on multiple occasions. I don't remember them all because they don't usually play out the way that one did, where she comes clean at the end, right? So you got to give her credit for that. She did come clean at the end, and she did deserve to be smoked. She had pulled it off, and it did teach me a lot. But I still don't like being taught lessons in that way, you know. And I'm still not going to be particularly gracious to her in the aftermath and treat her as inherently friendly, I guess. That's fine, Eliana. That is totally fine. As you could hear there, I'm fine with making jokes about it too. I'm FI polar. You don't gotta worry about that shit. You make all the jokes about my mom you want. So I went into the nursing home the other day, and my mom was getting butt fucked by one of the orderlies, and I'm like, "Damn, mom, Alzheimer's disease made you a slut." See, hilarious jokes like that are fine. Hilarious jokes are fine. Hilarious jokes are good. If you don't like hilarious jokes, well, I think you should. We've been watching, Rachel and I have been watching this show called Russian Doll on Netflix. Man, that lady's talented and smart and interesting in her writing and stuff. She's probably the same type as the character she plays, I guess, which is probably ESTP, but it sure feels like an intuitive wrote that shit. James Strauss is a national treasure. Oh, Jonathan Basanti, are you a perv? My mom may be a member of the silent generation. But she was never silent about things. She always had a lot of opinions about things, you know? Hi, DDX. How you doing? What you schmooing? Are you pooing at the bed babooing? I am missed. Oh, well, thanks. Appreciate being missed. I guess I've been kind of depressed a little bit. Maybe the last couple of weeks or something. That's a great joke, Winston's mom. Nah, your mom was always a slut is the fantastic thing to put there, okay? You leave all the rest of the words out. That's all you gotta put. That's perfect. That's perfect right there, just as it is. Nah, your mom was always a slut. It was fantastic. Why am I depressed? Well, maybe I'm coming out of it a bit. I'm not sure. I didn't like this bottle of speed. That's the main thing that happened here this month. Is I didn't like that bottle of speed. And I know it's supposed to always be the same shit, but I shit you not, man. That was a really gacky speed. As somebody who's done a lot of speed in his life, let me tell you, that was gacky as hell. The only thing about it is it smoked. It smoked well. Like, it didn't have hardly any binder in it. It was like mostly speed. You could smoke those little white flat wafers. It tasted just like smoking meth. But it didn't feel like it, really. Yeah, every time they say use pervert or perverted or whatever in Japanese, they always say hentai. It's just like one word for every conceivable incarnation of pervert. It refers to people who are perverts. It refers to media that's perverted. It refers to... It's like they don't have a lot of words in Japanese. I guess they don't need that many words. They use a lot of English words for a lot of things, like timing. They didn't have a word for timing, I guess, before the English-speaking people introduced it to them. You rest on those laurels. You rest comfortably on them, because these laurels are made of springy moss. Bad timing on their part. And like hero. They didn't really have a word for hero. A lot of things. So why am I depressed? It mostly had to do with that, I guess. Somewhat it has to do with like I'm not happy with the work I got done this month, the amount of it, the quality of it, the directionality of my efforts. It was like it was an unproductive bottle of speed, and that's always frustrating. It was also it made me feel yeah. It, like I said, it's gacky. Um, from a bigger picture perspective, I guess I'm adjusting to the idea of being here sort of indefinitely, long term, maybe. Uh, of being close to my dad, regardless, indefinitely. You know, for the duration of his life, not moving too far away. You know, I but I'm frustrated with myself because it's like I really need to be making a bunch of Mindy's Club shit, and I'm just not doing it. And it's not that difficult to do, but you know, I'm not like. Ideally, I make a shit ton of those things when I'm super sprung, but I never really got that sprung this month because the springiness of the whole thing didn't last very long because it was so gacky. So you know, it can be hard for me to keep big picture stuff in mind when you're dealing with a slow boil. And around here, we're definitely dealing with a slow boil, you know. Being Eric and doing talking with famous people means I spent a lot of years experiencing uh thanks Rubinar. You're the best. Uh experiencing the realities of talking with famous people, which are what they are, you know. It's like we're the channel's actually growing comparatively quickly right now, even though I'm making fewer videos. Uh, but I'm in the same position I always am. Sometimes it bothers me more than others. It's it's almost properly called an executive function disorder, actually. Although I poo-pooed that name a bunch. It is almost it's like that. Because I have this weird countervening urge not to do things that I should, you know? And to do something else or nothing. And in general, when I'm not feeling particularly up and good and hyper, then I guess I feel, yeah. Curtis hollering at Jack Oliver Aaron. Well, so Curtis is another example of somebody who apparently, you know, gamed the test. And men like gods, you're not an ENTP, are you? You're an ESTP. The thing is, it's like that process of theirs is useful for me in teaching me what counterfeit bullshit looks like. But beyond that, it doesn't mean anything. And the thing that annoys me is when people who who have practiced something that's not intended to be like that, right? You're not the test is not supposed to be maximally effective on people who've studied for it. It's supposed to be maximally effective on people who no. The extroverts have the same are the same in socionics as MBTI. It's just the introverts that are backwards. So he's an ENTP in socionics. I think he is an ENTP, and uh, he's just he's just not as well equipped as I am to make arguments. And that's understandable because he's young and doesn't have all the relevant work experience that I have. Yeah, it's kind of goofy. Anyway, that's my main point here tonight, is that to the extent that we make meaning about those test gamers and the successful gaming of tests, uh, it's not that TI doesn't link to those kind of questions. It's that those kind of the people who really try, have been able to fake me out sometimes. But that in doing so, they make it more difficult for somebody to fake me out the next time, or in the same way anyway. So Club ATP and this lady used different techniques to fake me out. Neither of those will work on me again. ISFJ. Yeah. ISFJ in MBTI would be called ISF little p in socionics. Probably not. He's probably an ESFP. But the thing is, he's very familiar with all my testing and stuff. And I don't doubt that he figured out a way to game the shit. But it doesn't establish anything. It's like, if I wanted to the reason it's hard to remember is because they've got E's and I's in multiple places, right? It means both expert and introvert and ethical and intuitive. So it's like, okay, you people, like, I'm supposedly a LIE, logical, intuitive extrovert. But that's too many I's and E's. You shouldn't have I's and E's mean more than one thing in the same code. It's like, that's dumb. You see what I'm saying? That's just dumb. If you can't have I's and E's mean multiple things in the same code. Intuitive, logical, extrovert. Okay, yeah, my bad. I mean, come on. ILE, LIE. Too many I's and E's. You gotta have to mean. If you gotta have I and E mean something in a code, it needs to just mean one thing. Obviously. Okay, I'm ILE. It's easy to fuck it up, as you just see right there, right? I fucked it up. I'm an intuitive, logical extrovert. I'm intuition first. God damn it. Get it right, Eric. You wronging pants make wronger tens. Don't call me that. Anything but that. Don't call me a wronging pants make wronger tens. Yeah, And to the extent that I get depressed or feeling meh, it's always the same reason. It's always that I'm not doing enough sensory world shit. I'm not concretizing enough, or I'm not concretizing well. I'm not taking good care of myself. It's one of those kind of sensory things. It's always SE or SI. Whenever I have any kind of bad feelings, it always links to the same thing. Always. And yet, knowing that doesn't seem to be very impactful in terms of changing my behavior at all. Like, if I don't feel motivated to do something, I don't want to do anything. I need to feel like excited about anything to do it. And how can you go through life needing to be excited about everything that you do? You can't, right? It's impossible. But that's how I feel. I need to be excited about everything that I do, or else I don't want to do it. But how much excitement can I muster in myself? How many liters of excitement juice do I have in my body? Yeah, MBTI is fucked up too, for sure. They shouldn't call the introverts judgers who are perceivers and vice versa. I agree that is also dumb, but that's what we're stuck with. That's the dominant language of typology. If Eric would have done it, he would have just said, just call them by their first two functions. N-E-T-I. That guy's N-E-T-I, you know? That guy, N-I-T-E. That dude's S-I-F-E. You know, shit like that. Yeah, self-discipline is not one of my strong suits. I would say it's one of my weak suits. I would say that my self-discipline is a big bottle full of weak sauce. I'm about as self-disciplined as a 2-year-old. It'd be better if you just call them by their first two functions, because that sends the right message too, which is that everything is defined by that. It's not like you've got 8 functions within you that meh, 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 meh. It's like expressing as somebody, as a person who extrovertedly intuits and introvertedly thinks as their dominant personality means miggity meow. Form and matter. I mean, well, you're talking about identity versus identityless stuff, right? Matter is a general term meaning stuff that doesn't have any identity. It's not worth identifying. It's just stuff, okay? Identity is a product of distinct objects in space, you know, in its physical reality. We understand things as having identity because they have distinction as objects in space. I can pick them up, like, this isn't stuck to the table, you know? And I can put it down, and it's a single thing. So, it has identity. That's introverted intuition. So, it's like the development of our attentional being occurs foremost in a physical space, and our ways of knowing, introverted sensing and introverted intuition, we manifest those foremost in learning that objects don't move unless they're moved by somebody. They don't move on their own. And in realizing that that it's the same object, just looking at it from the back and stuff. That things have a distinct identity as well as just identityless matter, right? So, in the first instance, you learn that things are distinct from you, but that non-agents distinct from you you can reliably expect them to stay put and come back later and they'll still be there, you know. And then in the second frame of reference, you realize that those things are distinct from each other in predictable ways. Like the lighter never becomes a trash can, and the trash can never becomes a lighter. So that's our knowledge functions, SI and NI, in their pre-language state, understanding things. You can see NI at work in the fact that babies without any experience of falling will nevertheless not walk over the edge of a glass thing where they can see an edge. They're afraid they're going to fall. If it's glass, then they can see through it, you know. It's because the NI recognize that this reality in front of them, it has an identity that can be predictably understood as dangerous to the self, you know. They didn't have to experience it before. They just intuit, even as very small children, like infants, that they can just barely crawl, that they shouldn't crawl over the edge of a thing that falls off, you know. So it's built into us, everybody, a certain amount of intuition and a certain amount of subjective impression kind of memory. Memory works in a lot of ways, and identity links to memory in various ways as well. But what Peter didn't teach you referred to as autobiographical memory, which is the thing I'm testing usually with SI. It's an impression keeping system. So, like, when I talk about how we listened to these 4 songs in the car and where we were in the car at each of the songs, then I have in my head a visual impression, I guess, of where we were and what the freeway looked like where I was at that moment. So like I know somehow that it was sunny, time of day. It was like mid-morning, late morning, maybe early afternoon, you know. and I have another, just sort of a general kind of like impression of me and Rachel in the car, and the Huntington Drive exit is in my mind currently right now, and how it looks and goes down like this and then comes out onto the street. So I'm apparently constantly keeping those impressions, but normally not accessing them. But I can if I need to. So that's not something that I willfully do. I don't willfully keep track of those impressions, but I do willfully access them. And the willful access of those, in my case, functions in the service of what one might call NI realities, which is to say, mapping truths that cascade down and inform about reality accordingly. So the reason if you ask me what was the purpose of me remembering those songs and where exactly we were when we were driving when they came on, I would tell you it had no purpose. It was unconscious. It occurred without me willing it, right? But if you were to look at it from a third party's perspective, you'd say, well, the purpose of it is to inform others in a concrete way about the idea of SI, including one kind of attention that you're hereby describing as SI or calling SI, you know? I mean, the thing is, socionics is not worth your time and energy. I can tell you that right now. Things are both simpler than socionics imagines and and more rigorous than socionics imagines. To be rigorous in your constructing of a model is to start with the right frames of reference, right? And the right frame of reference for modeling basically what is configurations of a reality constructors, you might say. Human beings each construct a reality by being, and or manifest one, whatever you want to say, whatever verb you want to use there. Each human being manifests a reality. So we are, in that sense, each of us a reality constructor. And yet we also are objects in other people's realities. So we need to start with this frame that says, okay, we function as subjects, objects, and observers in our reality constructions. Each constructed reality necessitates all three of those, although often the subject and the observer are the same thing, same person, same identity, but in a different role. So even if I make a claim about going to the store or something, well, how do you know that? Well, I remember it. So first I tell you what I did, and I'm describing my actions or whatever. And then you say, well, how do you know that? You're asking me to justify my claim. I'll tell you I remember it. Because I'm functioning there as an observer, the person who remembers, and as a subject, the person who did the action. And when asked to justify my claim about the action, I appeal to the fact that I was the observer as well. So that eliminates most of the questions thereafter about whether I can be trusted about the thing. It's explained thereby that I'm justifying myself with my memories. Hi, betting tips 3000. The thing is, when we communicate, we can only do what we can do with communication. We can't do what we can't do with communication. So, what people want me to be able to do more successfully is communicate things that universalize and absolutely cannot be gamed by anybody, no matter how hard they try or whatever. Well, to a certain extent, that's impossible, because you could always memorize a whole script of things and divert away from my questions every time or something like that, and I don't know. It's conceivable to fool me. It's always going to be conceivable to fool me if you work really hard at doing that. But it gets less possible the more often it occurs. So it's like training me to recognize counterfeit bills. The point is, it's a lot more resistant to that effect than almost any other psychology test you can imagine. It's like most psychology tests, like for example, the that famous Milgram study, right? That worked when it worked because nobody had ever heard about that study. Once you hear about that study, you'll recognize that trait, that quality, that capacity to be led by authority down a bad path and apply the information, at least potentially, and change what you otherwise would have done because you know that information, right? That's how most stuff in psychology is like. But that's not how this is like. This is a lot more robust than that. It will work on most people who don't work hard at gaming it or who are at all authentic. It will work almost 100% of the time on virgins, people who don't know about typology at all. It'll work almost 100% of the time on half virgins, people who haven't studied this test. And that's a lot stronger than you can say for most psychology shit. So it's like, I can type you and retype you 6 months later and probably get the same type. without any doubt, unless you spent the ensuing 6 months practicing how to prove that you don't actually have that problem or something. It's like if you do that, then okay, you're putting a lot more effort into it than I am at that point. Sure, I have a lot of experience, but no, I don't think you can fool me without consciously gaming it. But it doesn't mean I'm always going to be right. Some people I need that require some people. If I were to test them correctly and fully get them down, I'd have to meet with them on multiple occasions or something, or it's been too much time on them than I want to, and I have to say at the end, well, I'm pretty sure you're this. Some people I feel very certain about. Uh, but again, if you're out to prove that you're not a certain type because you can, you practice now, you can do this that I said you shouldn't be able to do. Well, you're probably doing some half-assed fucking fake workaround version of it. And so that's what I was saying in the earlier stream about needing to pay more attention to quality as well as quantity, because divergence is the engine of extroverted intuition, and the ability to create disparate shit on the fly rather than extended explications of one thing. Or it's like extroverted intuition is more wild and woolly in its real manifestation than it ever is as a slot function. That is interesting, Lou DeFay. Yeah, well, what they're generally trying to do is to prove that TI doesn't link to intelligence, and I don't think it does. I think it might link to IQ. I think intelligence. Well, I think it does link to it when you talk about that term as a subject. If I'm going to be perceived as a subject who's intelligent, or if I'm going to be perceived basically as an object, I should say. I shouldn't say subject there. That's wrong. If you're thinking about it in terms of how you're perceived as an object, am I perceived as smart? Then yeah, TI is going to link to people perceiving you as smart, and any TI is going to link to that more strongly than SETI. So any TI is going to make people think you're smart, and the reason is I guess you probably are, but oh, I slept earlier. I took a nap earlier, and I'm not going to be streaming a super long time tonight, I don't think. I gotta get another Coke. Um, this is nothing. Sometimes I've had actually very long streams, but this is nothing. Hi, Bubbles. Okay. Oh, that skunk. Oh, that pesky skunk. It's made smells out in the driveway area. I'm not sure what they're attempting to do exactly. But I don't know. I don't understand what the. I don't think they really understand what they're doing either. I guess they're trying to establish that they're competent. You know, if you think about FV, you can always break it down into two categories: competence and warmth. Naps are pretty crucial, man. For me, they're pretty crucial. It's like I should have been. I normally would have been a lot more thwacked out today, except I guess I didn't. I didn't put enough sleepy weekend and I before Father's Day, and I got a special gift. Well, TI is simply the objective deliberation function. It deliberates about language objects mostly, and it deliberates about them by checking for validity, for one thing, and consistency. So it's the function that calls bullshit. That's what it is. Mostly. It's how it plays out mostly, you know? It's the function that calls bullshit on things. And we need one because FI and TE are functions that both put out bullshit, you know? That needs to be checked. So that's a good thing that we have a calling bullshit function in topology in our existence. I mean, if nobody ever called bullshit on stuff, then the world would be a mess. You can thank TI for the West, the rise of the West, not for the fall of it. Whatever. DMT's not all that. I I've done it plenty of times and I like it, but I don't find it as magical people find it. I'm not really into magical drug experiences, although I do have a little bit of magic giving to provide mushrooms, which I see as, well, I mean, it's like, where does bullshit come from? People figuring out how to get what they want even though it's not fair. Usually, right? No, I never seen any elves. I I don't know I don't know who the elves are. I've never met them. I did on one occasion have an experience where everything seemed to have a little guy in it, but it's not like they engaged with me at all. I just sort of seemed to have. I don't know what to say, how else to put it. Yeah, that's true, KXM. TE drags TI back to the particularist. That's a good. That thing that he just said there, KXM just said, is correct. TE calls out bullshit when TI oversteps its authority to understand things beyond what the objects suggest. They complement each other. Well, I mean, that is absolutely true, but it's also the case that, you know, the deliberation functions, they aren't necessarily paired with a concretization function. You can think of uh, extroverted intuition as the ideation function, extroverted sensing as a concretization function, TI as a justification function, and FI as a motivation function. And you could think of FE as a socialization function, TE as a um, solvency function, and then NI is an identifying function, and SI is a archiving function. No, sometimes TI people say bullshit. A lot of NETI people say all kinds of bullshit. ENTPs generally are not very good thinkers, to be honest. It's like there's an SI component to it. If you're an ENTP, how you were raised and what kind of stuff you learned makes a big difference. How often do I close my eyes while on DMT? Some of the time. It makes me feel cold. I always want to get under a blanket whenever I smoke it. Oliver Linehand's comment should be made into a song. What's his comment say? Let me see. TI calls bullshit, TE cleans up bullshit, FI protects bullshit, FE masks bullshit with fragrance, SI remembers bullshit, SE makes bullshit, NE thinks about bullshit, NI observes bullshit. That's pretty damn good, Oliver. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, it's like summations, like what he just said, and the ones I just said as well, are ways that people start to understand better, I guess. Nah, it lasts like 30 or 45 minutes in full, probably. But the thing is, time gets really slow when you're on DMT. So even the first 5 minutes seems like it lasts forever. It seems like it lasts a super long time. It's a long, sometimes a very good long 5 minutes. Uh, I've had moments of feeling, I guess you'd say, enlightened on it, but I recognized it as a feeling. Yeah, he makes me giggle. When I'm on DMT, I talk like that. Oh my god. Ryan says, I was thinking about my FI while on DMT, and for myself, I seem to constantly be concerned with meaning. I think I was this way before I even realized what I seemed to be. That sounds like an INFP thing to say. If all functions are bullshit, does that mean our identity is also bullshit? They aren't bullshit. I think bullshit about the map. It is a map. If you try to build your grass hut on the shores of the well-mapped bay on the map, you'll find that it's just a piece of paper. But it doesn't change the fact that it's accurate or not. Oh, that's bullshit. Look, I'm sure it depends on your function stack how you interpret that kind of stuff, right? And what language you use to describe it. Yeah, Tiffany's on a strictly almond milk diet. She always wants the big bottle. We call them you know, extinct species of humanoid. ESH. We'll call you Esh for short. Esh. The problem with this drink is that it's not almond milk. But Tiffany, that actually is almond milk. I know almond milk gonna taste that, and this is like the weakest almond milk I've ever drank. Oh, you want vodka, huh? Look, that stuff that you keep calling that is almond milk. Trust me. Pour me a glass of it. Oh yeah, I've got a very specific diet I follow. I eat whatever appears in my refrigerator. Tiffany requires Tiffany's like speaking another language kind of. So you gotta understand you gotta spend some time with Tiffany to understand her. What's that talk? What is that? I'm totally understandable. I agree with you, Tiffany. You are totally understandable. AAA battery. Let's call that person AAA battery. Epileptics probably experience DMT organically? I doubt it. If, in fact, that were the case, my question is, why aren't I flopping around when I smoke DMT? Mm-hmm. That's my question. Gotcha. No, no, no. You didn't get me, no. Yeah. You want to watch out, you're gonna too big for your britches, mister. You better bet I am. I have in my mind the beauty of Tiffany singing "We're in hot air balloon, we're floating up in the sky. I want some almond milk, 'cause almond milk is good." Well, she sang that one day when she was in a hot air balloon. It was beautiful. Tiffany's always getting the lyrics to songs wrong, you know. She's the one who thinks that Britney Spears song says, "I'm not rats in a tent." No, Tiffany has been involved in a fire-related accident when she lit the barbecue one time. She mostly burned Mindy, though, more than she burned herself. She burned the bottom of her feet a little bit. I want some almond milk. So take a look in the cupboard and find me almond milk. Well, you're something wrong with your listening ears then like God, because from the mouth of Tiffany comes immortal truths. Like, why did I sing that song about being rats in a tent? You know, like, I'm not rats in a tent. I bet nobody even thought she was rats in a tent. You're probably right, Tiffany. Probably nobody did think that. So, sometimes I can't understand it. I don't know, it sounds like a gargoyle. You shut up. You're getting too big for your britches, Missy. Oh, yeah, Dennis. You better shut up. Oh. See, I should make a bunch more shorts for that. I made some and I've scheduled them, so I'm like covered until like the beginning of next week, but like one every couple of days or whatever. But I need to just make a little set here somewhere of things for them to play around with and just make a bunch of them. I should probably do that right now. She's got kind of a California. But she's like super drunk most of the time. She mostly just drinks almond milk. Did I see a schedule? And you can't stand that sassy FI? There was this lady at the YouTube conference who, not the YouTube conference, the YouTube party, who kind of talked like that. She without the drunk part, but she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so nervous," but oh my god, and oh, okay. So anyway, what I want to say is, for those creators out there who right now, she was totally like that. I thought, oh god. This whole thing is so absurd, frankly. You know, I don't mean to talk shit, but it's just so absurd. How many times are they going to say it's amazing to be here, it's such an amazing experience, and it's like, oh my god, really, just stop. Will you just stop? That's why I wanted to title this video. Will you just stop, everybody? Will you just stop with your shit? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of even the good parts. So just stop with all the shit. I was so excited to be there when it was such a nice experience. It's like I just really feel a lot of like really like happy to be here. No, nobody tried to indoctrinate me. They were all everybody was very nice, and I was not very personable. I didn't really talk to anybody. I just made little videos, and I wish I had made more, but it's a little intimidating to make little videos in such a setting. So, I'm subject to all the FE stuff while still finding it absurd. I mean, who's not susceptible to being impressed by, like, free cafe, right? You order whatever you want, it's all free, and you take, you want a pastry? Here, take it. They're free. Yeah, there, go ahead, take it. No, I mean, I was trying to play low key, so I was not trying to get in everybody's mix. Not a lot of people were making little videos that I could see, but I wasn't really paying that much attention to it. Ah, it just makes me want to do that, make some videos or something. It's more of a more of an endeavor than you'd think, you know. What's the difference between TI 1 and 2? I mean, TI 2 jumps to conclusions more. TI 1 is much more deliberative about the conclusions that it jumps to. It's less willing to make definitive claims about things. Well, I tell you, sometimes I almost think I should drink some water. Then other times I think, but I don't really like water that much. It's a quandary. A conundrumandry, you might call it. An enigma conundrumandry. An enigma conundrumandry. That's an enigma with a conundrum and a quandary all mixed together. Let's see. A conundrumigma. A conundrum enigma quandary. So, enigquandary. A conundrum enigquandary. A conundrum enigquandary. Maybe that's not as clean a word. A conundrum a conundrumandry? A conundrumandry? I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. I don't know what the point is. But something is a conundrum and an enigma and a quandary. And we get to play around with the fact that that's the case by discussing it here today in these important fashions. Let us all enjoy the important words that I speak from my mouth. Now, comment upon their importance, revel in their wisdom and truth. I don't remember. What did I say about Texas? I'd say it's the Lone Star State. That's what I said about Texas. It's the Lone Star State. I'll tell you what else I said about Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Shohei Otani, Shohei Hey Otani, oh hey Shohei Otani, what you up to now? What's he up to these days? Is he playing well? I haven't really heard anything about him. I'm playing with my hair quite a bit right now. That means it's getting too long. It shouldn't. I mean, I think it cures itself, right? It's like they're teaching me to recognize counterfeits. As I said, it becomes decreasingly possible to do it. It's like any kind of black hat, white hat thing, right? It's they reveal the holes, you patch them. We're going to the circus, hooray, get some kernels of corn. And hey, won't you have a soda pop as well while these clowns vote their bucket and tell us on the idea that it's full of water before throwing it and it's really just confetti. It'll be hilarious. Are there infinite holes? Are there infinite holes? Well, I mean, there are as many holes as people designate, I guess. How many holes are there in a donut? Trick question. There aren't any holes in a donut. Trick answer. There really is one hole in a donut. So what do you think about that? What do you think about that? That's the question that I have for you. Well, you should get a unicycle. There's no doubt about that, Jonathan Basanti. I've long said, I've been saying to Rachel now for years, you know that Jonathan Basanti, he should get a unicycle. Yeah, I'm giving fist wags and finger shakes. That's a finger shake. And this is a fist wag. Kind of like a shake weight thing. It's not really true, Jonathan Basanti. I made that up. I haven't been suggesting for a long time that you should get a unicycle. I just made that up right now. I'm sorry I lied to you. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Yeah, I was just trying to gaslight you into buying a unicycle. Why would anyone want a unicycle? It's like, I just went with the first idea I had. One wheel, me ride it. You know? One butt cheek per donut hole? No, I don't want a free butt cheek with my donut hole. Why would you have butt cheeks anyway? We're 7th off of the corpses down at the morgue. What are they? Butt cheeks. Oh. You get one free with your donut holes. I don't want one. You don't want one, but it's a free butt cheek. Oh, that's so gross, though, dude. I don't want your free butt cheek. That would be terrible. That's a terrible giveaway. Come back next week for Severed Hands. Severed hand would be more interesting to get, I guess, than a butt cheek. At least a severed hand, most of the meat rotted off of it. You'd have still some bones. Oh, Jonathan Versace, you made the same mistake I did, didn't you? You incidentally lied to me. Ah, this is nice, live streaming, talking to everybody. Nobody's trying to beat me up at the moment like usual. Pow, pow, Eric, pow, pow. I'm like, hold on, everybody, stop the powing. Hold on just a goddamn minute. I'm here, I'm queer, I don't want any more bears. Why yada? Come and get it, you. Come and get it, you. Come and get it, oh yeah. That's my kung fu. It's time to suggest things for you to do and dispute things you've said. You get a blind pound for that one for sure, Fly Guy. It's fantastic. What popped up in my head? Another story time like last time? Oh, okay. I can't do that. I don't know if I really feel up to that. I'm pretty tired, and I'll probably go to bed pretty soon. It's nice, with my dad out of town, but I think he might be coming back tomorrow. Either coming back tomorrow or the day after. He told me to watch out for the trash, which means maybe he thinks he'd come early a day for something. Marcel? Who's Marcel? Palm Desert area, down near Palm Springs. Oh. But they're not gonna likely to do us early, are they? I'll go look on the street and see if other people have their trash cans out. That's the only way I'm going to be able to figure this out. I'm going to have to use some SESI. I'm going to have to go look and see for myself whether or not Marcel, is Marcel's last name Burpitt? Burpitt. I'd like Marcel's last name to be Burpitt. Marcel Burpitt. Marcel Burpitt here. I'm here to talk to you today about something of great significance. Marcel Burpett is like a reporter. He's like an investigative reporter who talks like this. I'm here on the scene and I'm Marcel Burpett. I'm fast and competent. I'm here to talk. I only speak a regular language, John Basante. How do you get two holes into one hole? You put two donuts inside of a circle. There are two donuts inside my circle, and I ask you not to place any objects with sugar or lacy flavors on top of the paper inside the thing that I said. That circle has two donuts inside of it, and I wonder why. It's because you put them there, and that's why. Oh, why? So that's all spark pods. Life is a funny thing, full of complications, full of matters of great import that weigh upon a person like stones on a shoulder. And there are things, dissatisfactions about the self that just there's no point in feeling them because you're not really going to change that much. Um, I guess I've lost faith in my ability to change myself very much. It's like I look around here and think I should have already completed various organizational things, and now I've got new organizational things starting to gather, and I haven't even hung that corkboard yet. And most of the time, you sit around and watch TV. You know, it's like, okay, Eric, come on, stop being such a fuck around Sue. You know, don't be fuck around Sue. Who just fucks around all the time. Be do a lot Dan, who gets a lot done. Do a lot Dan gets a lot done. Be like a man, be like him, son. Be like do a lot Dan, who gets a lot done. Make a hole in a napkin and stick your nose in it. I have the same thing sometimes where I feel like a lazy blob. I blame my deliberative first slot. Yeah, well, I corkboard is a fun word to say like a southerner. Go down there and get me some corkboard, kirkbird. That's funny, Jonathan Basanti. That's fun. I like things that are fun. Let's have fun, guys. Let's talk about fun things. There are Chinese spies all around you? And they're spying on you. What are they looking at? What are they watching? Are you sending politically insightful literature to China? That was the toned down version. They learned on you. Yeah, I know. They took our arms. And then it gets decreasingly recognizable as it moves along. Yeah, it's funny. Ops. OPS, operations. Let's conduct some operations. Who wants to conduct operations with me? And if you would like to conduct operations with me, what kind of operations would you like to conduct? Would you like to operate on somebody by cutting them open and moving around their organs and stuff or whatever? Or would you like to do some covert operations where we conduct surgery on somebody secretly without anybody, including the patient, knowing? Those are covert operations. What about overt operations? You never hear about people conducting overt operations. Yogurt operations. Let's conduct some yogurt operations? I agree. What exactly would be an operation you conduct with yogurt? I guess you could conduct Operation Dairy Protein. Let's fill the Panama Canal with yogurt. Who's in favor of my advocacy? Who thinks we should fill the Panama Canal with yogurt? Everybody, can I see a show of hands? Me, I do. In honor of Panama's long fascination with bananas, we'll make a banana flavored yogurt. I think we should do that. Let's do it. And thus we all set off on an adventure to Panama to fill the Panama Canal with yogurt. Winston's mom had set up the whole itinerary for us ahead of time, so all we had to do was just get on the plane near our house, and we all landed together in Panama, the capital city of Panama, which I'm going to assume is called Panama City. Okay? So we're all in Panama City. Naturally, the first thing we do when we get there is go to the local Banana Republic store and purchase Panama appropriate clothing. Men like gods, you get a Panama hat, and 5 mics out, you get a Panama shirt. Jonathan Basanti, you get some long pants that say Panama Canal on them. Panama on one leg and Canal on the other leg. And New Groove, you get a Panama hat as well. And Jan Jans, you get a Panama hat, and on the Panama hat is a picture of the Panama Canal. And so then we all leave. I get some stuff too, so does Rachel. We get like paperweights and some pens where like the boat moves across the canal on the pen, and you tilt it. We get those pens, Rachel and I do. We get a lot of them. We get like 100 of those pens because we really like those pens. Rachel and I have always been able to just watch something move across a pen for hours at a time when we hang out together. And when we're not on camera, we just watching pens mostly. So, anyway. Well, because of the C, Boba Fett, it's because of the letter C. Anal, my anal canal. So anyway, we head off from the gift shop near the airport, and we all get into cabs. Old-fashioned taxi cabs, not Ubers. And Ryan S. complains. He's like, hey, why aren't we taking Uber? And then Jonathan Basanti says, because I looked at the reviews and all the Uber drivers around here get like 1 star because they sell you to kidnappers. Even though it costs them in their ratings, they really go down in popularity as drivers after the first few people have been kidnapped. But anyway, they're also rude. So that's why, Jonathan Masanti explains, that's why we're taking cabs. So Fly Guy goes, just get in the cab, everybody. We gotta take like 4 of them because there's a lot of people here. Oliver Linehan, you get in that last cab there. The really shady looking one. And Oliver Linehan says, I don't want to get in that cab. And Lupe says, come get in this 3rd cab with me. So Oliver Linehan gets in there, and finally it's just me and Rachel left, and we get in the shady cab at the back. It's the only cab left for us. So we're like, okay, let's look, shady cab, you go in the front of this convoy because I want to make sure you don't get separated from everybody. And so he goes up to the front, and I say, all right, now drive us to the local yogurt dispensary, please. And he says, no comprende, no comprende. And I say, tú tener nosotros a el factorio de yogurt. And he goes, oh, okay, yo sé. And he starts driving. And the other cabs, your guys' cabs are all following along. Karma's Pimp, you're feeling very car sick right now. And realizing in the moment of car sickness that what you really like more than anything else is drama about ENTP Club. Anyway, and then we're all driving around, but pretty soon, we're on this like dirt road. I go, whoa, stop the cab. And the cab driver goes, oh no, senor, it's your cab that's going to have to stop. And he points a gun at me with his, not with his finger, with his hand. He holding a gun and points it at me and says, we're going to take you to Los Kidnaperos. And I'm like, Los Kidnaperos? I'm not sure, Rachel, but I'm pretty confident that, in fact, 5 mics out may be involved in this. It might be an inside man. I'm pretty confident about that. But besides that, I'm pretty confident that he said, the word he said means kidnappers in English. And then Rachel said, oh no, kidnappers. I said, don't worry, I've got this. I said, listen, cab driver, listen to me. No. El tapo el carro, okay? Stop. Cerrado. Stop the car. And he sees my gestures and he goes, no sé. I said, watch where you're going. And he turns and I grab the gun real quick and I throw it out the window. And I say, okay, now that's it, mister. Okay, now you have to stop the car. You lost your gun. You have to go out and get it. So he stops the car and he gets out, but it's getting dark and he can't find his gun. And then everybody else gets out of the car and says, okay, this guy just tried to kidnap us. And Jan Jams is like, hey, and walks up to the guy and pushes him. Pow! Like this. And he falls back into the bushes. And he goes, be careful, you hurt me. And then a poisonous snake bites him and he dies. So, the Fly Guy says, I've seen this before. These poison snakes around here can be pretty bad. We better make sure none of them have gotten into the car. So we're looking around the car, but as we're looking through the car, Ryan S. starts wandering off. And he's got a flashlight because it's getting dark, and he sees across the way that it says El Factorio de Yogurt. And he says, you know what, guys? I think we're already here. And so, Fly Guy finds and gets rid of a couple of snakes. Karma's Pimp finds a snake, and he asks Fly Guy to get it for him because he's kind of wimpy about getting it. And New Groove starts to tease him, but then Oliver Linehan says, hey, stop teasing him. He doesn't like snakes. That's fine. He doesn't have to be brave about snakes. Not everybody's brave about snakes. Remember that time I put a potato bug in your face? And the new group says, okay, I remember. And Ludape says, okay, come on, guys, let's get in the cabs and all go across the street, okay? And Winston's mom's like, yeah, everybody get in the cabs. So we get in the cabs, and they drive us across the street. And we pay the cab drivers except for the one who's dead. But we keep that car. Because we said we might as well use it since he's dead. So, we now have one car that we can take that's not a cab, which is useful potentially. So, we go to the front door of the yogurt factory, but it's closed. And Eliana says, don't worry about that. I know a way we can get the yogurt. What we'll do is I'll sneak in through the window over there and open the door for you, and we'll all come in and we'll gather as much yogurt as we can, and we'll just leave money to pay for it, appropriate to the amount of yogurt we take. And Rachel says, I don't know if that's such a good idea. And I say, that's a fantastic idea. And so Eliana climbs through the window, but a little while after that, we hear this yelling, help, help. It's kind of muted. She's stuck. It turns out that there's this jagged piece of mia that's sticking out here, and it's caught on her clothes, and she can't get in or out. So Boba Fett comes back with a crowbar, and he crowbars that metal away from her so she can get through there. And so she gets through, but now she's dripping blood down her leg because she got cut. And she opens it, and we follow her in, and there's this blood trail. And I go, okay, Eliana, listen, you're bleeding too much. And I go, okay, Jonathan Pisani, come here, please. And Jonathan goes, yeah? I go, can you tell somebody to help deal with this, please? And he goes, all right, Winston's mom, come here. And Winston's mom goes over there, and he goes, can you tell somebody to deal with this, please? And Winston's mom goes, yes, I can. And she goes, hey, Lou. And Lou goes, yeah? She goes, deal with this problem. And then Lou goes, why do I have to deal with it? But she doesn't say it out loud. She comes over and goes, oh my gosh, you're bleeding. Here, let me help you. And feigns caring for a while. Anyway, so Eliana has now this piece of cloth that was nearby that is wrapped around her bleeding leg. It's slowly getting redder with blood, just to set the scene of this, okay? So, we go in, and sure enough, inside the factory, we find a bunch of vats of yogurt. And we're like, okay, well, what we need are buckets. So, new group comes and goes, hey, look, guys, don't even worry about it. I found a whole stash of buckets over here. And sure enough, they've got a whole lot of buckets because they need buckets a lot in making yogurt. So we all fill up our buckets with yogurt. And we pack full of the car outside with these buckets of yogurt. Okay, I go, well, this is a good start. I don't think that's enough yogurt to fill the whole Panama Canal. So Jonathan goes, okay, well, we're going to need a better solution than this probably. And I say, well, first let's call some more cabs, and let's take this yogurt back to the hotel and check in. So we call the cabs, and we go to the hotel. It's called the Hotel Panama. And we check in with our luggage that we had with us from the airport still. And we went straight to the yogurt factory. We said, hey, we're here to check in. Strauss party of 24 or whatever people. How many people there are? Probably like 7, 10. I don't know, maybe like 10 people here that I've talked about so far. Probably 10 to 12. However many people there are. That's our party size. And we're here, we're queer, and we're going to fill the Panama Canal up with yogurt. And they say, Senor, where are we going to keep all this yogurt? And I say, well, that's the sort of problem that you, the hotel manager, are the person to ask about. That's what I want to ask you, actually, is how are you going to deal with all this yogurt to keep it fresh for us? And he said, oh, I guess we'll have to lend you our big refrigerator. And I said, I guess you will. And so they show us where their large, extra large refrigerator is. And Jan Jams is complaining. He's like, oh, I can't carry another bucket of yogurt. They're so heavy. And I say, stop being a little bee. Carry more yogurt without complaint. And Five Mike's out says, hey, Eric, don't talk to Jan Jams like that. And Boba Fett says, go on, you're doing a great job, New Groove. Keep carrying those buckets. He's just encouraging other people to carry buckets. And I say, hey, Boba Fett, that's my job. My job is to encourage other people to carry buckets. Your job is to carry buckets. You get your ass over there and carry some buckets right now. And Oliver Lionhand says, yeah, do what Eric says. And Boba Fett says, okay, I will. And reluctantly hanging his head, he goes and gets a bucket of yogurt. He tries to find the lightest bucket he can find. And he's like, this is the one. And he picks it up. It's like, that was like barely half full. Well, fine, better than nothing. Get your bucket over there. So we get all the buckets into the refrigerator, and we crash out, and we go into our rooms. Most people crash out. You know, the INFJs stay awake talking, and then later we get up. It's dinner time, and they still haven't slept. And so, anyway, everybody gets drunk and crashes out. The next morning, we go downstairs for breakfast, and the Panama police are there. And they say, excuse me, to me. And I'm like, what? And they're like, are you planning to fill the Panama Canal with yogurt? And I said, that's for me to know and you to find out, okay? And they say, well, the owner of the hotel has called us because he said his manager had told him that you told him that you were going to fill it up with yogurt and that you had a bunch of buckets of yogurt. And I say, okay, they're either lying or got it all wrong or something, probably. Who knows what's going on here? The point is, you don't know what's going on here. And I want it to be a surprise. So you're just going to have to let yourself be surprised by what happens, okay? And they say, oh, I guess there's nothing we can do. You want to give us a sorpresa? La sorpresa? Okay, senor. And they leave. And I'm like, the Panama police are a real pain in the butt. And Winston's mom says, actually, I thought that went a lot more smoothly than I would have expected. And I'm like, what do you mean? And Ludape says, well, you weren't very polite with them, you know. And Jan says, here, let me chase after them and give them a gift basket. So he goes to the concierge, and there's a gift basket for somebody's room. And he just grabs it and runs after them and tears the note off that it was for the people who it was for. And he runs and he gives it to the Panama police. And they are so delighted that by this basket that they agree they want to find out what other surprises we have in store. So when it gets back, I say, good job, Jan Jams. Hi, sunshine. Anyway, we go and we dump all our buckets of yogurt into the Panama Canal. And everybody celebrates. They make it into a national holiday. They call it Yogurt Day. And with our encouragement, all the nation's people go to their local yogurt factories, fill up buckets, and pour them into the Panama Canal until it's entirely filled with yogurt. And we're celebrated the world round, except poor Eliana, who died from her leg injury. The end. And that's my story. You missed out on a story, Dark Sunshine. You didn't come with us to Panama. But poor Eliana died from her leg injury. You know, she died, but as a cliffhanger, it may be that she's still in a coma. She may have been accidentally buried alive. So, in the next episode, maybe we'll have to we'll rescue her in the nick of time. You never know. Because in Panama, they're always accidentally declaring alive people dead. If you don't know. Well, there's hope. There's hope. We're not sure. We're left unsure what happened exactly. Comes out like Oliver Linehan when it's smoothly done. I mean, it depends on the interests of the SIDOM. To the extent that the interests of the SIDOM require a lot of intuition, then it'll be more visible. Because we got to think about it in terms of, like, what are you going to see as a third party? Or what are you going to experience as an individual? Are different questions, you know? No, we filled the very ends of it with Roman cement so that you can't get through anymore. But it prevents the water from getting in there. We're thinking about trying to install some another key in the canal or whatever they call them. But yeah, Roman cement. It's a mixture of lime and volcanic ash. It's what the Romans used to make cement. Aren't I a fount of knowledge? Look at me knowing things about stuff. You've been through the Panama Canal a few times? It's not very interesting to observe. You find you do your most creative work when you're super sleepy? I can get silly sometimes when I'm sleepy, depending on how I feel or whatever you want. Because my emotions. Depending on my emotions and my emotions. If you love emotions and feeling emotional feelings, you're going to love Emotion Feelings, the tender intimacy of feeling emotions. A new 7-book set by Penguin Publishing Company. What's going on? I hear noises. So does trouble. Let's find out. That's what I've got a flashlight for. Well, I don't know what it is. It's what they call mysterious sound. If you love mysterious sounds, you'll love my backyard at night. It's full of mysterious sounds. It's usually attributable to a possum, a skunk, a skunkosum, which is what you get when a skunk breeds with a possum. Have I heard of Daytona Bike Week? No. I haven't. What functions are list making? I don't know. Uh, I'm not sure. It's, my mom made a lot of lists, but I don't think all ISFJs necessarily make a lot of lists. My mom had a lot of stuff to keep track of, I guess. But my mom's was an ISFJ for sure, and she wasn't compensating for bad SI. It's just SI. Oh, the lightning one. Wow. This is the first game of the series we haven't watched. Yeah, I've been known to make some lists. I go through phases of making some lists here and there, you know. Is it hot over here? It was it's supposed to be 97 degrees today. Boo John. Boo Lightning. I agree with Boo Lightning. I'm rooting for the Avalanche to win. Yeah. I mean, how many times have you found the list that you made and forgot about? Many times has that happened. Oh yeah, that list. That supposedly helpful list. Is there something in my nose? No, I was feeling this spot where I had a pimple before, but it's gone away now. And I'm feeling for hairs on the bridge of my nose. Have I been in a movie? No, I haven't been in any movies I know of. I wish that I would be in a movie. That would be a lot of whoa whoa. Funnily enough, you haven't watched much playoff hockey at all this year. Rachel and I have watched a decent amount. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was on TV. That's true. I don't even remember it. Oh, that was the school news. That was only broadcast at the high school. It's been fun watching hockey with Rachel as well. ISTJ ESFP relationships. From an outsider's perspective, the ISTJ is getting kind of walked over a little bit. But from their own perspective, it's different. They have their FI things going on. I think I'm about ready to wrap this up. I might play a couple of songs first. Maybe I'll open up set list, Bobette list. I'm really impressed by this Russian doll show that Rachel and I are watching. It's really smart. I recommend it for anybody who's got Netflix. Santa Ana's from the east are blowing, driving down this mountain fire. So Grant and Lana had best be going, they'd cut it down to the wire. Everywhere apocalypse hung heavy, the truck was piling up with ash. Lana got the dogs in the Chevy, and Grant counted out their petty cash. If times are ending, then time is bending. Rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. 120 out, but Labor Day, and that means cooking meat outdoors. Guy got distracted and fire got away, but from Bradford to Arcadia they cursed his name. Fire chased them down the incline till they reached the foothills below. Found a room cheap for the night online, at least they had some place to go. Tomorrow they'd evaluate their options now that their life had burned away. Lana's sister has a place in Laughlin, wasn't really any more to say. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. While the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted, Lana stays awake to cry. Well, Sammy has a story that need be told. This is a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jeb, turned 19, 4 years and 3 kids weaned. Weary now and questioning the path. Agency out, pace his discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure they're underneath them always run. Doug at 20 thought bourbon fun, and likewise Doug at 21, and so forth, well up into middle age. Well, once it seemed to set him free became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression. Offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody's panicked about the kids, lock 'em up with extra dexedrine. Mathematics teaches success, or impose or unjust duress. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our forces. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just depression by parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying. Well, they feed their fear of dying. Yeah, they feed upon the futures of the young. 30,000 days, too many expectations, not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication, otherwise you won't escape the plan. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my energies? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think, 'cause I think, direction all along. Wait until I know, or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it's so below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing it wrong. Too much noise in the data stream, loud enough to disrupt everybody's dreams. Frustrations mean mistakes are made, until it seems everybody's just throwing shade. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. It's not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one will still to end a day. Your uncertainty is implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in blue suits. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow may be time for yesterday. Well, that was not too terrible. What's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly bad? Is he very like Dan, who's a terrible man? Is he sort of like Jill, who can't pay your bill? Or rather like Jack, too stuck on the facts? What's the matter with Sue? Will she know what to do when they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? They talk about you whenever we go walking. What's the matter with Jim? Fuck. What's the matter with Bryn? She's been living in sin. What's the matter with Bryn? She's been living in sin. She's been hanging with Jim, looking terribly thin. What's the deal with Jim? What's the deal with Frank? Left my tank here, colluding with you, and they're talking to Lou. What's wrong with the ladies? What's the matter with Ben? From the feelings of Katie to the coldness of Sven. They talk about you whenever we go walking. As let's play to lesser days, as let's play to lesser, spill out from our watered past. And whoever's left is still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. Are you angry at Ken? or devil again. Don't bother with Kev, he's practically dead. Just focus on Bert, he's mediumer. What's the quantity for lids? She failed the quiz. What's the matter with Drew? Will she know what to do when they bring out you? Will she show ingenuity? Whenever we go walking. Fuck. Man. I am out of practice, and I shouldn't try to play that song that fast. I haven't picked up the guitar in a while. I haven't played that song in a while. So I can do Amelia a little bit better than that. Amelia, go from that place. Take unto you the details of your case. Amelia, when you rise above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what will they say when they look at you then, moving sideways in the space you're in, and staring sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see that you and I will never be? Amelia, yet you're still free, with too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia, Amelia, we're watching you fail for sure, no matter what we do. Amelia, when you rise above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what will they say when they look at you then, moving sideways in the space you're in, and staring sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see that you and I will never be? Amelia, yet you're still free, with too much opportunity to leave out in the, too much opportunity to leave out in the, too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia, I did that pretty well. That wasn't too bad. Oh, he came here with her. Oh, he came here with her. And what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you reframing for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Yeah, you guys both have lots invested. That's not a reason to stay around. Through the years you've both been tested. Time to move up, find higher ground. Oh, he came here with her. And what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you reframing for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Be done with him. That's pretty good. That's about as well as I ever play that song, actually. I mean, it's about as good as it gets for that song, I think. It's pretty clean. For me right now, anyway. Maybe eventually I'll play it better. I don't know. You're living in a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. You're picturing community free of metaphysics, haunting buffalo while you're picking red delicious. Knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old. Fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Okay, it's Rachel. I was worried what the sound was. Hostility is kept at bay. Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
By what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. Imagining a history that never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin. Preventing disconnection in every corporate act. Ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. You find modernity just so banal. Wish you had been born any time but now, and your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. You visualize nobility sipping on some port, or tribes of peaceful savages in beautiful comport. But few of history's people ever thusly did cavort, 'cause life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor and short. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman. Thanks, darling. I sure could use that coat. You're a hero among ladies.
Well, thanks, babe.
To become a hero among ladies, one must perform heroic acts in one's ladyhood. I gotta tell you, McDonald's cups are not that durable. They'll survive a couple of Cokes, but that's about it.
Yeah, they get a couple of Cokes, and that's it. The bottom gets like really mushy.
Mm-hmm.
Meow.
You can't use McDonald's cups very frequently after the initial use, because you see the bottom gets very mushy. It's true. If you like a mushy bottomed cup, try reusing your McDonald's cup like 4 times. You'll end up with a mushy bottomed cup like me. And you'll say, oh, I was a fool to try this. I should have recognized it. Indeed, a mushy bottomed cup would ensue. No good comes from skating on with them whom you'd mistaken for the one. Habituated defense and indecency, self-inflict eventually once your search is done. Driving in the car last night we had a massive fight, each insisting we were right and the other one to blame. So when you pulled that stunt, I screamed something awfully blunt. My words were as wrong as they were dumb. I burned my share of shame. It's each of our own failings, not us doing the nailing to the wall. We fear so the others sailing off to reset their life and all. You can trust me and I can trust you, though neither trust ourselves much true. But love lies deep between you and me, at least about that we can both agree. Driving in the car last night, we had a massive fight, each insisting we were right and the other one to blame. So when you pulled that stunt, I screamed something awfully blunt. My words is wrong if they were dumb, and I burned my share of shame. My share of shame. Just brooding here won't do any good, but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the true ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. That's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun. But flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions come undone. I tried to stream and trapped and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new reality bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid. But still I need get out of me what's inside my head, and scrolling down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It seems like everybody's so sensitive and ready to just get mad. I seek the simple ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale, our capacity to laugh, the sense to know when not to wail and how to tip the golden calf? I tried to stream, distract and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it, for reasons still unsaid. But still I need get out of me what's inside my head. Scrolling down now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm sad for me, sad for her unhappily, and what you call sorrow I call blues that sink clear down to the bone, down to the bone. Still I'm sad, so sad for me, sad for her unhappily, and what you call sorrow I call blues that sink clear down to the bone. How could I forget about this song? Wonderful, wonderful kitty, having wonderful times. Always cleaning yourself, making sure you got clean lines. Wonderful, wonderful kitty, such a fabulous soft friend. And now it's wonderful kitty bedding time again. Just let me having wonderful times. Always cleaning yourself, making sure you got clean lines. But your wonderful kitty is a fabulousness I've never encountered before. And I know that I want to pet my kitty some more. Just let me pet you, don't walk away. It's petting time, hooray! That's a good song. I really like that song. I really like it. I really like to play it too. It played really well that time. It's kind of hard in a couple spots to play it, but it makes me happy every time I sing. I'm gonna play it again because it makes me happy to play this song. Wonderful, wonderful kitty, having wonderful times. Always cleaning yourself, making sure you got clean lines. Wonderful, wonderful kitty, such a fabulous our friend. And now it's wonderful kitty petting time again. Just let me pet you, don't walk away. It's petting time to wonderful, wonderful kitty, having wonderful times. Always cleaning yourself, making sure you got clean lines. But your wonderful kitty is a fabulousness I've never encountered before. And I know that I want to pet my kitty some more. Just let me pet you, don't walk away. It's petting time, hooray! Yay! Yay! That song makes me happy. Oh, that was nice to sing that song. Yeah, I guess I'll play Cloudy Day and call it a night. I think I will play Cloudy Day. I was going to skip it then. No, yeah, I think I will play it. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Can someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. Cloudy day in Los Angeles. But I've got something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving for those who stay awake all night. And mostly voices say to give in. They'll try to sap your will to find. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. perfect, but pretty good. Okay, so that's gonna do it for the live stream tonight. Thanks to all of you who stuck around for those songs. You're a special kind of people. Yes, you're not wrong, and you, I hope, enjoyed them. Even though I fucked a couple of them up, you stuck up to those fuck ups. You know, you're really a hero among the people. You're a real hero, and you deserve a medal. I hereby award it to all of you. The Medal of Honorable Waiting around for me to finish playing these songs. Very honorable thing to do. Thank you very much. I appreciate your ears' attention.